Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at a problem that has us do some simplifying expressions by combining like terms. So this problem I'm pulling from, this is CPM, course 3, CC3, and this is section 4.1.1. Okay, so problem number 4-10. So if we look at A, I have this expression. And the first thing we usually look for when we're simplifying his expressions is to see if there's any distributive property where you have a number outside of parentheses, right? And in this case, I do not. There's no distributive property. So it's just simply look for the like terms and combine them. So I tend to find the ones with exponents first and put those in the beginning. So I'm looking at this right here as a 2 and it's a positive. I see the plus in front, positive 2x squared. So if I look to see if there's any other x squareds, there isn't. So that term is going to be all by itself, 2x squared. Once I am done with that one, I can kind of cross that off so I know I'm done with that. And I go, now let's look for another one. And then since we're using x, so now let's go find the x terms, the terms with x in it, but in this case without exponents, right? So without a squared. So I have a positive 3x and a positive 8x. So those are x terms because they have just the x, not the x squared, right? X and x squared do not combine, but I can combine those two. So 3x and 8x. So 3x's and 8x's make 11x's, correct? So once again, I'll cross those off because I'm done with those. Now what's left? It looks like I have, let's see what I have here. I have a y and minus 5y. And then I also have this minus 3. So I'm going to first start with those two because those are like terms. If I identify my like terms, a 1y and a negative 5y, those are like terms because they both have just the same variable y and the same exponent, which is just 1. There's no exponent on it. So 1y and negative 5y make it a negative 4y when I combine those. So I'm just going to put a minus 4y. And now I'm done with those. And the last thing is just this minus 3 is all that's left. And there's no other constant to add that to. So that's as far as I can go right there. So that's the simplified version of A, combining what terms can be combined. So let's do the same thing with B. B, if I look at all my terms, right? A term, all the terms are separated with minuses and pluses. So the addition and subtraction signs are what separates terms. So once again, I look for the one that has exponents, and I see that there's a positive 4x squared and a minus or negative 6x squared. Those two can combine because they both have x squareds. So it's a positive 4 and a negative 6. Positive 4 and negative 6 makes negative 2. So that's negative 2x squared. So those go away. Now, let's see. I've combined the x squared terms. Now I'm going to look for my x terms, right? So again, so here's a positive 2x. And there's another x term. It's got a minus in front of it. Don't forget about that minus. And remember that there's no number. It's always a 1. So minus 1x. And then a minus 3x. So I'm combining. Basically what I'm doing is I'm combining this 2x. I'm combining a negative 1x. And I'm combining the negative 3x. So I'm trying to combine those three of the terms that I'm combining. So negative 2, negative 1, negative 4. When I add all that up, I get negative 2. Right? All that adds up to be negative 2x. So I write up here minus 2x. So that's the combining of like terms. Those are all like terms. So I'm done with those. Done. So all that's left here, it looks like, is a negative 9 and a plus 1. That's all that's left. So negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. So we put minus 8. So there, right there, is the most simplified expression for B. Okay, keep going. C. Once again, I'm going to look to see. It looks like I've got a constant. I've got a y squared term, a y term, a y squared term, a y term, a constant, and a y term. Right. So let's start with the y squared terms. I have a positive 3y squared and a negative 3y squared. Right. Pay attention to the sign in front. Positive 3, negative 3 is 0, right? When I say a positive 3y squared, squared, and a negative 3y squared, right? Positive and negative, zero out. So I don't need, it's a 0y squared, which 0y squared is just 0. So I'm just going to cross those off, and I don't need to write anything for those. So let's go to the y's. I have a positive 30y, I have a negative 14y, and then a negative 16y. So let's see. So once again, I'll write it over here. I have a 30y, I have a negative 14y, and a negative 16y. So if I'm going to combine all those, well, because it's addition is commutative and associative, I can add these two together first, negative 14 and negative 16. Those two together add up to be negative 30. So now I have a positive 30 and a negative 30. Once again, positive 30, negative 30 cancel out. So I have a 0y. So those are gone. Done, done, done. So then the last thing is my constants, right? So my constants are positive 14 and negative 14. Once again, opposites. Positive 14, negative 14, cancel. So my final answer for C is just 0. 0 is the answer. There is no terms. They all cancel out. So I have to write something, and the something is 0. So that all simplifies to be 0. Okay. D, let's see. So I have an x term, a y term, an x term, a y squared term, a y term, and a y squared term. So let's start with the exponents, the one that has the squared. So I'll do positive 5y squared, negative 5y squared. Once again, what do you notice? A positive 5y and a negative 5y. They're opposites. They're going to cancel. That becomes 0. I don't need to write anything, right? 0y squared is the same thing as 0. So that's gone. And then let's look to see what else we got. We've got, let's go with the y's. So I have 13y and 10y. So 13 and y and 10y, those do add. I get positive 13, positive 10 gives me 23y. And then my x's, so I'm done with the y's. So my x terms, I have a negative 10x and a negative 6x. Negative 10, negative 6, make it a negative 16x. So there we have it. If you would have done the x's first, you would have wrote negative 16x, and then the y second plus 23y. So either answer is correct. So 23y minus 16x or negative 16x plus 23y. Either one is correct. Okay. There you go.